Welcome to the inner universe. The inner universe is the spiritual and mental universe. It is not like the physical universe. It's not made up of solid objects, but it's responsible for the physical universe. Without the spiritual and the mental universe, the physical universe does not exist. And you and I does not exist. Nothing exists. It is this spiritual and mental universe that's responsible for all that you see. The planet, the star, the earth, the ocean, everything that is made from the foundation of the spiritual and the mental universe. All that you see and know is just a reflection of the inner universe, the spiritual universe. And that is the real universe. The physical universe is just a shadow, a reflection, are the product of the inner universe. Let me show you on a small scale what I mean. The inner universe is where the thoughts and the ideas come into being. This is where the thoughts and ideas are manufactured. All those thoughts and ideas that come into being through that process, then a decision gotta be made. And when that decision is made, then the action is taken of that idea. And then that idea become a physical thing on the exterior. It comes into view. It comes into existence. For example, a home, a car was once just a thought, was just an idea. Everything that's man-made was once just an idea in someone inner universe. Okay, let me break it down on a lower level. For example, a thought comes in to the mind with its agenda. It said, you gotta be this, you gotta be a lawyer, you gotta be a doctor. Once you give the okay and you accept that thought with its idea, with its agenda, trigger the thinking process. And within that thinking process, you're thinking of how to go about to accomplish you being this profession. And in that thinking process, other ideas are coming in and it's getting bigger and bigger. And you're realizing, okay, you got to do this. You got to do that. You got to make decision. You got to take a course here. You got to go get some books over here. You got to go to this university. You got to go take a maths course. You got to go brush up on some other course. And then you accomplish all this. You go just from this thought. You go and you accomplish all that you have to accomplish and bring this thing into existence. You embodied this thing. You become this lawyer. You become this doctor. You become whatsoever profession that is. Once you accomplish all this, you become that profession. You start moving and working. This is the inner universe where the thought, the idea, and the decision making, the action, and taking it out into existence is on the physical side. But the part that you cannot see is the thoughts, the idea, and all that decision making. That's why the philosophers say that this is the real part, and the part that's on the outside, the existent, is the shadow. This way you take it from a spiritual level, a mental level, and bring it into a physical level on the exterior. So this is from, as I say, from spiritual to physical. So you can see the reflection there with the thoughts and the ideas are what you become. And that's why you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful what you're cooking up in that space, because you don't want to cook up any liability. Because remember, if you cook up any liability within you, then at some point, some moment in time, you will have to deal with that. So whatsoever you're creating, make sure it's an asset for you in this sense. This is where the saying comes in, where the words become flesh. Because the words, the thoughts that comes in, the idea that comes in, you become that. You embodied that, and you become that thought. You become that idea at the end. So that's the spiritual reflecting on the exterior. And this is the way it is right through the universe, if you look at it carefully. Listen, this is not for everyone, but those who are on this journey will understand exactly what I'm saying, because they would be seeing the same thing playing out within themselves, so they can confirm it. And if you're on this journey, at some point you will realize this and realize that you're one with the most powerful force in the universe. Blessing always. Remember to bring some clarity and some awareness into your creative space. 10 to 12 deep breath can get you started. Like, comment below, and subscribe. Peace. Thanks for dropping by.